Hi there, it's Sue Ralph from Birdcage Craft Studio, and I'm here today to show you a couple of cards. They are called either spinning cards or penny slider cards. Basically these are all cards that actually do something, so like this one moves around the card. Okay, and this is the one that I'm going to demo today. This is using IndigoBlu stamps and some of the distress inks by Tim Holtz. This is another one that I did using die cuts as a background and a spinning flower. Oops, there we go. And this is another stamp set that I've just purchased by Ryan, and this is another slider card. So I can get the bird to slide across. Okay. And then the final one, and this is just going up and down the card. So there's a little lad, whoops, flying his kite. So I'm going to move these out of the way, and I'm going to just come back in with this one. Because it might take a little bit too long to do everything, I have actually done the embellishment on the front, and this is one of the IndigoBlu stamps, and I will put it in my blog post which one I've used. And I've used the Pillar Box Red acrylic paint and the Lancashire Rose to do the with the mega flakes. And then behind here I've used a stencil with some with the distress inks, and then I've used another patterned this is called the Crackle pattern by IndigoBlu, but I'm going to use a different one today. It's out of one of their other kits, and again I'll put all that information on my blog. Right, so to start off with, I've cut myself a piece of card, and I've actually cut a circle out of the centre, and then I've punched a slightly smaller circle to go. This is going to be the mechanism for when it moves on the card. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off, let me just bring the camera in a bit closer, and I'm going to use my stencil, and I'm going to put that over the top. Make sure I get this right for you so you can see. And then I'm going to bring in my distress ink, and then I'm going to just go all over the card with my distress inks. Just work the ink into my sponge. Your stencil there, and then I'm going to bring in, that was the barn door distress inks. This one is the black soot. I'm going to bring that in now, and I'm going to use, this is out of another one of the IndigoBlu stamp sets, and again I will put that on my blog for you so you can see which one that is. Okay, so I've got my inking, stamping done. Now this is the embellishment that I made, so I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back just to lift it up a little bit. Just pop some of these on here like so. Now I'm just going to attach that to the black circle that I've done, and I've got flitter flakes around the edge, and I'll show you how I did that in just a minute. So just make sure that goes into the centre. Okay, so this is the top of the card that we've just finished, so this will be sitting like this. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be bringing in the base card, and I'm just going to put some ink all the way around the edge. So I'll bring in a piece of paper, because knowing me, I will get a bit messy doing this. I'm just going to bring in my black soot, and I'm literally just going to go around the outside. Right, let's remove this for a minute and let that dry off. And let me just bring in the other card that I made just to show you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to this top piece, and I'm going to put the flitter flakes around the edge, and I'm going to do that using a paintbrush. Okay, because normally you use you know, sort of a bit of fat foam, but for this I just want a thin edge, so I'm just going to put some of the IndigoBlu flitter glue just down, and I'm going to bring in my paintbrush, and I'm literally just going to paint around the edge. Now you don't need very much of this, okay, you just need to do the edges, and don't put great dollops of glue on. You're just literally touching around just so that that flitter flake's going to catch, just like this all the way around. Okay, just make sure you've got some, and it's just to give just a border around your frame. I'm just going to set this to one side just to let it get a little bit more tacky before I put the flake on. And again, if you're using flitter flake, you need to make sure, you use the flitter glue, you need to make sure that you're going to be putting this in water, your paintbrush in water afterwards, because what you don't want is the paintbrush to go hard. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in a little bit of stamping, and I'll show you again with the words. And basically what I've done is I've taken the sentiment, I've stamped it out, and then I've cut out just certain words. So this is what I did, okay, and all I wanted to do is just to use that bit there which says love beyond words. So I cut two pieces out, and I've gone round the edges with a little bit of the Distress inks. So I've got one more just to cut out. Okay, so I'm just going to do the one that says words. Let's just get rid of that little piece. And then I'm just going to come in with a dauber, and I'm just going to go around the outside, just so that it's just highlighting that a little bit. I think I'll just nip a little bit more off the end there. Okay, so now I've got the words ready. So I'm going to bring in my top part again. Okay, and I'm going to bring my flitter flakes in, and this is Lancashire Rose that I'm using. And then I'm just going to go around the edges with the flitter flakes so it catches the glue. And when you're rubbing your fingers down, you can feel where the glue is still a little bit sticky, where the flitter flakes haven't caught. Just run your finger back down and then take off the excess. And I'm just going to use my finger just to rub that in a little bit more. And that's the one thing with flitter flakes, you have to be careful because they do float everywhere, so you'll probably find that you'll be covered in some afterwards. And I'm just getting my scoochie, and I'm just going to take all the excess off. Let's move this out of the way, put that back in the box. Let's just move some of this just out of the way of everything. See what we're doing. Right, bring back in my base card, like so. And then on the back of this piece, I'm going to lift it up on some dimensionals, because then this will give this part of the card the opportunity just to spin round freely. So I've got some fairly thick dimensionals which I'm going to put around. I'm going to do around the outside and then a couple closer to the circle. But what you want to do when you're putting your foam pads down is be very careful not to actually get too close to the circle, because that will stop the mechanism from rolling around. Just put enough on to make sure it's supported nicely. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using these little circles as a mechanism. So just put them on and just make sure that the foam pads aren't too close to this circle here, because that will then stop it from freely moving, but they're fine. So I'll just remove all the bits from the top. I'll tell you one thing though, these black inks, I'm terrible. I always manage to seem to get it everywhere. I'm not sure what I do, but I always end up with really inky fingers. So I'm going to turn that over now and stick it onto my card, onto the base. Make sure I get that as much in the middle as I can. Just like so. Press down. And now I'm going to move on to this little piece here, and I'm going to show you how I make the sliding element. I mean, a lot of people have used pennies, which are fine if you've got pennies, but like I was making some at Christmas and I didn't have enough pennies for the amount of cards, so I punched myself out some circles using a 3/4 inch punch, and I think 3 or 4 will do. And then you want to make sure that you're using the round foam double-sided dots. Don't use hexagonal or square-shaped ones. You know, don't use anything like that, because the spinner element doesn't spin nicely enough. It needs to be round. And then you need to put one of the foam dots right into the middle, like so. And then take that carrier off. Okay, so you've got this here, and then have another dot and line it up over the top, like so. And then what you've done is you've created, I can catch that on the camera, a little sandwich. Okay, and then this little slit all the way round, that is where this part of the card will actually fit into your circle, and I'll show you how. So what you want to do is mount, whoops, get another foam dot onto here. So you want to put a foam dot just in the middle there, like so. And then you need to put it into the middle of your element. So I'm going to pop it as close as I can into the middle. Okay. And then you have that. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to slide this little piece in between here. I mean, if you have a smaller element than this, then I suggest that you put this in first and then stick this part on top. But because you can't really see what you're doing, it's easier to mount it first onto here and then just manoeuvre that into there. So basically, if I fold it up this way, I might be able to show you easier. This little bit here has got to go in between here. So this is being sandwiched. So it goes in there. But I've forgotten one very important point. There you go, let's see. We all make mistakes. You need to put your circle in the middle. Okay, so I need another couple of foam dots. So I'm going to pop in the middle. And this one I just literally punched out from some white cardstock. And again, you need to make sure that they're not too close to the edge, because otherwise the mechanism isn't going to run around properly. So take this out, stick that into the centre of your card. I don't know if I'll stick my head in the way of the camera, but there we go. Okay, so now this little element here fits in between these two pieces here. So it's a bit difficult to show you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip one piece on here first, like so. It's a bit difficult to show you on the camera. Can you see I've slipped that in there? And then I'm going to have to lift this little piece up closest to the glue dot to pop it underneath. And then you have your sliding element. You just need to just help it around to start with. And then it should start spinning around. If it catches, just use your fingers a couple of times just to move the whole element around. But it's spinning quite well now. So then decide if you want a front opening card or a side opening card, and then you just need to make sure, whichever one you decide to do, you then put your words down. And again, keep these as flat as possible, because if you put more foam pads here, it will be too high and then that will get caught. So I'm going to put love at the top here. Love. And then beyond. Move that to the side. Just there, and then words, which move that slightly out of the way, and I'm going to pop that in the corner there. Make sure those corners are stuck down nicely, and then hopefully, there we are, your card will start working. Okay, so that's another slider card using IndigoBlu stencils and stamp sets, all different stamps, and the flitter flake. Okay, so let's just go back to this one. So what I did, I cut out myself a piece of card and then I stamped my element on it, but I left enough room and I used a punch just to punch this out. You could actually cut it as well if you have a Stanley knife, which is the sort of thing that I did with this one. I had a sharp knife. I cut myself a sort of a stencil first and then cut it out onto the card. But one thing that I did do, which was a bit of a shame, I actually cut it too far into the flower, so I'm missing some of the flower head. But you know, you have it as long as or as short as you like. And then this one, what I actually did, it's the same sort of element that I did on the first card, but this one I've just cut out a circle here, an empty circle, and then another one in the middle, and then that flower just spins all the way around, if I can get it to do it for the camera. There we are. So I hope you've had fun with this. Please check out my blog, and if you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and it would be great to see you over on my blog and subscribe to me there. I'll be back soon with another video. Take care. Thank you. Bye.